When your entry-level flagship already costs $2,300? Oh, for audio. Hello and thank you for clicking on this video where I'll be talking about Fur Audio IEMs. This is the first episode of a 3-part series because I'll be talking about 3 different IEMs at 3 different price points with a total cost of about $9,500 worth of IEMs. Yes, I've got my son guarding the door in case of any intruders, and he's been instructed to spit at their faces while I escape with the IEMs. We're at the STRATOS-FI level once again, and I wouldn't have been able to share these experiences if not for the opportunity provided by Damien and Fur Audio as part of the Australian Head-Fi tour. So thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of it, and to all of you watching, do consider dropping a like and a sub to the channel so that I can one day afford the Xenon 6. Wishful thinking. Today we'll be talking about the Neon 4/NE4, which is a 4-driver IEM coming in at $2,300. Yes, this is the cheapest one in their flagship lineup. Wipe your tears away, let's talk about accessories. Since this was part of the review tour, unfortunately there wasn't a box that comes with the Neon 4, so just talking about the accessories that it comes with. As seen earlier, it comes with this leather carrying case with the Fur Audio logo at the top, and opening it reveals the IEMs, and inside this carrying case you can house the cleaning tool, some interchangeable ear tips, and this tool which is used to exchange the Atom modules, which this package also comes with. Unfortunately, I won't be able to delve deeper into the differences in sound between each modules, and most importantly, these Atom modules are so tiny that it's so easy to lose. I'll probably share the video from Fur Audio on how they exchange these modules using the tool provided, but that's how small and tiny these modules are. A feat for sure, but losing them will make any man cry, so I'm going to put that back into the box and talk about the IEMs instead. The cable is just average for me personally. It feels really light and thin, but it doesn't match the feel of the IEMs in terms of build quality. I'm not sure if this is the stock cable, but if it is, I'd rather use something like the Cadmus 8W or the Aries S 8W from Effect Audio for the Neon 4. For the designs of the IEMs, I actually like how similar a lot of the Fur Audio IEMs look in terms of its shape. Gentle curves going around the IEMs, silver aluminum shells, which unfortunately is a huge fingerprint magnet, but it has some weight and it looks and feels really premium. The faceplate has the NE4 branding in silver on one side and the Fur Audio logo on the other, against a marble-like background. Just looks really nice and sleek. Turning the IEMs around, and this is only available on Fur Audio IEMs, is where they place the dynamic driver where this grill is, which leaves it open-ended, and like me, if you're thinking, well, if the bass is going to be leaking out, then we're going to get a flat sounding bass presentation. Deep breaths. We'll talk about sound in a second, but let's talk about fit and comfort first. For fit and comfort, despite having an aluminum shell, it's definitely lighter than its bigger brother, which is the Xenon 6, but it still requires the right ear tips to give you a more secure fit. It's got the right curves that it doesn't put any unwanted pressure points in your ear, but because of its shape, it's not resting on my ears as well, so I'm relying a lot on the cable and the ear tips for fit security, and it's important if you want the sound to properly shine. The sound I'm about to describe is on the silver Atom. Let's explore. For bass, there's some punch and slam to the bass attack. Notes sound full and weighty, though there's a bit of a sub-bass roll-off, so there's some rumble coming in from the deep end, but not a lot. It's mostly focused on the mid-bass, and is definitely a baby brother to the SE6, the Xenon 6, because bass on the XE6 is just... it's just simply next level. More on that on another video. If I'm putting the Neon 4 up against the Maestro SE from Fat Freak, the NE4 has a touch more meat and fullness to the bass note, but the rumble from the Maestro SE simply floors the NE4. I think with a little bit more sub bass, it'll just add another dimension to the bass presentation of the NE4, but for what it presents, it's good enough. All in all, the bass presentation from the NE4 is sufficient to maintain the engagement factor for your music, and it'll be something anyone will be able to bob their head to. For mid-range, the lower frequencies does bleed a little into the mid-range, but in exchange you get a really warm presentation, but it's not overly thick. It's more of an all-in-one sound kind of presentation, but there's enough separation that it doesn't all blend together. But the bass presentation can sometimes take the focus away from the vocals. If you're all about vocal clarity or presence, then the NE4 won't be able to give you that satisfaction. It almost sounds like the bass is the focus and the vocals are the accompaniment rather than the other way around. For those who love their bass, this might be a plus, but I wish the vocals stood out a little bit more. For treble, I put the NE4 on the smooth scale. It's a little bit subdued for my personal taste. Instruments like trumpets sound a touch further away, their attack isn't as sharp or distinct, and is missing a bit of that treble sparkle. It just has enough so that vocals don't sound too veiled or muffled, especially with all that bass coming through. It would be nice to have a little bit more coming from the treble, but they've given it to the SE6 instead. Again, more on that on another video. All in all, it's probably not enough to satisfy treble hits, but it's just enough to give you some sense of clarity through all that heavy foundation. And this affects the next aspect of the frequency as well. For technicalities, imaging on the NE4 is good. The left and right sounds are discernible, and it brings out enough detail from the track, but I was probably expecting a little bit more detail, especially coming in at this price point. However, if we had any more details from the NE4, it'll make the existence of its bigger brother a little pointless, so the NE4 stays in its place within the lineup. It's not the most detailed IEM, especially for this price bracket, but I don't think it's meant to be, because as an overall, I feel the NE4 is giving you a fun and smooth presentation, but still giving you just enough of everything else to accompany your musical ride. For power, the Neon 4 doesn't take a lot to power, surprisingly. On my Hi-Fiman EF400, I'm getting to about 7 to 8 o'clock on the dial maximum. Any more and I think I'll have hearing damage, and this is on the 4.4mm termination as well. To put in context, some other IEMs have pushed past the 10 o'clock dial on their 4.4 termination. So to sum it all up, I'm glad I started with the Neon 4 because it really sets the bar for this first part of the video series, and thankfully it progressively gets better and better until we reach the creme de la creme, the Xenon 6. But at this level, at this price point, the Neon 4 is good if you're looking for a smooth yet engaging sounding IEM, but at this price point, there are plenty of options to choose from, and the Neon 4 is in a very competitive bracket with plenty of other IEMs bringing in something special to take your attention away from the Neon 4. However, I'm curious to know your thoughts. Would you be gunning for the Neon 4, or will you rather save and get its bigger brother? Comment below, let me know, and with that all said, thank you once again to Damien from the Australian Hi-Fi Tour and Fur Audio for this opportunity, and to all of you for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned for the next episode where I'll be talking about another Fur Audio IEM, and until the next experience, take care and happy listening.